Well, may I introduce to you a specialty mask that we have ordered several thousand of, and we are selling them on Unmask.ca. And let me show you what they look like. I have one here. Can you see that? Masks are useless. Masks are useless. There you go. Masks are useless. Speaking of Yahoos, I want to show you a new product that just arrived in our office today. You know, I don't really wear masks. There was a brief period in March, April when no one knew anything. And I wore a mask when I didn't go out a lot. Everything was closed. But I wore a mask, I'll tell you the truth. I wore it a few times. Not because I thought it was scientific. I didn't really know. I just thought everyone is so panicky in March, April. There were no mask bylaws by then. By the way, the mask bylaws didn't kick in until August, September. The pandemic was declared in March. It peaked in mid-April. So it was done by May, June, July, August. Only then did the mask mandates kick in. So we got through the pandemic without the mask. In those early weeks, I wore a mask sometimes. Like I remember going to the post office and wearing it, and I remember going into a restaurant to order some takeout food, and I wore it. Mainly just to put other people at ease, because no one knew anything. But now we know that the virus, I mean, stopping a virus with a cloth mask is like thinking a chain link fence will stop a grape. I mean, the size of the virus is so tiny compared to the fabric, it's a joke. And I really resent the mask ideology. I want to tell you that I wear this little mask exemption button. I don't know if you can see that. It just says I am exempt and then maskexemption.ca on it. I didn't want to wear this because I don't really wear buttons. Like I don't wear things on my, I mean, everyone knows what I think, but I don't go around wearing a button. Like I wouldn't wear a political button. But I put this on and I go out and about and I feel healthier mentally. I feel less stress. I feel less antagonism because that whole, where's your mask? Put on your mask. Where's your mask? Put on your mask. You're not wearing your mask. Put your mask over your nose. I feel like this preempts all that and just calms everyone down and just removes 90% of conflict. In fact, I have never had a conflict with anyone. I mean, I think I told you the other day, I was in the Kawarthas. I put this on, I went into the Sobeys. Not even a look askance, not even a sideways glance. This is your ticket to mental health. And I think I might have told you that I keep an extra one in my pocket. So if ever someone says, rah, 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 put on your mask, that person might be a scold, or that person maybe just as likely wishes that they were exempt too. So I'm ready. I haven't been asked yet. No one's accosted me. But if they ever do, I got one in my pocket and said, here, you can have one too. Because part of the rule of law and part of our sense of fairness is that the rules apply to everybody. That's why it was so incredible when Doug Ford had people over at his cottage, when Doug Ford went to the wedding, when Justin Trudeau crossed provincial lines and mixed households, and when Sophie Trudeau gave or got the disease from Idris Elba in a meetup in London. I mean, all these fancy people, Tony Blair in the United Kingdom, not quarantining, the head of Costco not quarantining. One rule for the little people, another rule for the ruling class. And there is something fair about laws applying to everyone. And so there is sort of a conservative streak, you could even call it the rule of law, that if they saw me with a mask exemption, they would say, hey, how come I can't get that too? There's a form of justice there. So my answer is you can get that too. You can. And like I say, I've never been accosted when I wear these. But if I ever am, I got another one to hand it out. But let me show you. There are some places where you have to wear a mask. Schools, for example. And I don't know if there's some exemptions that are allowed. There's certain places you just don't want to fight, and they're going to fight you. So we came up with an idea of a mask that you wear under protest. most of the time, you don't have to wear a mask. You can be exempt. By the way, I don't know if we've gone there lately, but Exemption.ca, we have a website that has every mask bylaw in the country, including the mask orders for airplanes. So you can go to Exemption.ca and you can find the exemptions that apply to you. We also have cards and stuff. So do we have a list of, yeah, look at the little, do you see all the jurisdictions there? Airport, Winnipeg, Nova Scotia, like there's a bunch of rules there, Quebec. And then we have a chart there. We should probably have the lawyer. We have a lawyer, a young lawyer, who makes that chart for us. We have advice for shopkeepers. So this is really a lot of information here. I'm going to make sure it's up to date because there are some changes in bylaws sometimes. Anyways, so really, in most instances, you don't need to wear a mask. There is an exemption. I mean, and in Toronto, the exemption is wonderful. I still think the law is awful. But basically in Toronto, there's a list of exemptions, but the most powerful point is no one's allowed to ask you to prove you're exempt. So in practice, de facto, if you say you're exempt, you're exempt. If you say you're not exempt, you're not exempt. It's up to you. And shopkeepers are not allowed to play cop. So it's actually a very powerful law for conscientious objectors. But there are some places where the default state is you got to wear the mask. So what do you do? What do you do if you are in a place that you can't use the exemption, or you just don't, there's too much chance of a quarrel and it's just not worth the fight? Well, what if you, in your compliance, did so in a dissident way? What if you were not exempt from a mask, or rather didn't want to go through the effort of asserting your rights, asserting your exemption, but you wanted the world to know that you were not a person who believes in putting a muzzle on your face because the government tells you to? Not just a muzzle that is unscientific and does not work. Like I say, thinking a chain link fence is going to stop an olive. Oh, here's a little fabric mask, and it's going to stop a virus like one fraction of a percentage of the size of the holes in the mask. A mask that is perhaps dirty, a mask that you're constantly touching. For students, a mask that falls on the floor and you put it back on your face, a reusable mask that you didn't wash this morning. Don't tell me that's, and by the way, all these mask rules came in August, September. So what if you have to comply anyways, but you want the world to know that you are not the kind of submissive person who agrees to be muzzled by the government without indicating your dissent? Well, may I introduce to you a specialty mask that we have ordered several thousand of, and we are selling them on Unmask.ca. And let me show you what they look like. I have one here. Can you see that? Masks are useless. Masks are useless. There you go. Masks are useless. The mask, it's a real mask, and it says masks are useless, and in the corner it has Unmask.ca in case people want them. Now you still are complying. You're complying. These are unobjectionable. There's no profanity on them. It's a real mask. So the only objection would be that you don't agree. Imagine if someone were to object to this. Now, I guess I've got a flight coming up in a few weeks. I might wear this on the plane. I wonder if it'll start any conversations. But I tell you one thing, that a mask is a mask. If a mask has a polite signal of political disagreement on it, that in no ways renders it inappropriate, useless, or illegal. So I like wearing my mask exempt button because I don't like wearing a muzzle. I don't want a diaper on my face. I don't want to do that. I don't want to live that way. But if I have to wear a mask, like on a plane, I might wear that. I might wear that. And you know what? I'm not going to give those away for free because those are too expensive to give away for free. We sell them for $25 including shipping. So it's a premium mask, but we think they're pretty cool. And you can get it at Unmask.ca. I'm not a mask guy, but if I have to wear one, let my mask itself tell you that I think the whole thing is BS. Which, by the way, was the position of the World Health Organization and its robots, Anthony Fauci and Theresa Tam, until quite recently. They said don't wear a mask until they changed their mind. So what do you think about the masks, people? Do you think if you had to wear a mask, would you wear an unmask? I like that name, Unmask. That's our website, Unmask.ca. That's an excerpt from my daily TV show that I do live at 12 noon Eastern Time. We talk about the news of the day, we play interesting viral videos, and most importantly, I take your questions that you chat to me through YouTube Super Chat. I think that's the funnest part of it. So tune in every weekday at 12 noon Eastern Time, only here at rebelnews.com.